Scott Walker. Are you going to have Scott Walker here?
He's going to call in.
That's awesome.
So we'll have him up on the screen, and he'll be calling, but he's a dynamic speaker. He's humble, and he instills a sense of security.
The only governor to ever defeat a recount or a recall on himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I talked to your favorite.
Essie Cup?
No.
Oh.
She wasn't there this time. Oh, well, she wasn't there.
Okay.
But Mitt Romney's group was there. Now, as you all know, Tim has written a book. What's the title of your book?
50 Shades of Romney. Here's a hint. They're all white.
50 Shades of Romney. Here's a hint. They're all white. Is that a racist book?
It's racist. That's what people who don't read the book have been saying all over Amazon.com.
That it's racist?
Yeah.
Did you bring me a signed copy?
Do you want me to sign your Kindle?
No, I want you to. You don't have a hardback?
I don't have a hard copy of it. No, there's an ebook. On a budget. My first project was on a budget. I'm on a fixed income.
Have you made any money?
I don't talk about money on air. Yeah.
You have?
But I don't.
Awesome. Well, anyway, so I went up to the Romney campaign.
Of course I made money.
Why are you pointing the camera on him when I'm talking? I mean, seriously.
Well, beauty of politics,
and
I'm the attractive one.
He's the attractive one, that is true.
Ever since I joined Rosie O'Donnell's Chub Club.
No, that's me. I've joined
in 2000.
Her Chub Club.
I've been strong ever since.
What is the Chub Club?
That's when Rosie wanted to lose weight. She was going to get all these women together, and Lady Foot Locker sponsored it, and she didn't lose a pound. And all these other women were
that serious?
Yeah, that's for real. This was one of my greatest eBay purchases of all time. I love this shirt.
Well, then I don't want to join the...
We were talking about the conference this weekend you went to, and you met Scott Walker. You met Mitt Romney. Did you actually meet Mitt Romney?
No, I actually met Scott Walker.
Yeah.
But Mitt Romney, his campaign advisors were there. So I asked if he would come on the show, and of course they blew me off.
Yeah.
But then I gave them the speech how I was a little person, and I had done this and created this as a little person, and he needed to stick up for the little people.
And guess what they said?
And you know what? No, they didn't. They said, seriously, I got the guy's personal phone number, his card, and he said, you know, I'm going to try really hard to get him on your show.
I've got his East Coast communications director. She responds to my emails still. So if you
still,
yeah,
even after she's read the book, or she helped you write it, which one?
Some other things that happened in the middle there too that she probably wouldn't call me. Yeah, not the point.
Did you see that face?
No, they didn't see the face. That's fine.
That was good. That was good.
No, so we're gonna have Mitt Romney on the show. I'm so excited.
I know.
We're gonna Mitt Watch. Can we get a logo for that, Dan? Can we get a logo? Mitt Watch 2012, because you know he's not showing up.
Oh, you don't know that he won't show up. His campaign said that he would show up.
We should call his campaign every week from the show. Call the guy and ask when Mitt's coming.
Okay.
He's not coming.
He is coming.
$20. I'll give you 20.
You'll give me the 20?
I'll give you a $20 bill. If Mitt Romney is in studio, I will hand you a $20 bill with Mitt here. He'll be like, why are you giving her a $20 bill? I'll be like, because I bet that you weren't showing up, and I wrote a book on you.
And that's why he's going to show up. I didn't tell them that it was the author of the book.
He's not going to show up. #1 for a week. #1 for actually 8 days. And now it's dropped to like #4 today, I think was the last time I looked at it. So not bad.
Do you want to be on the radio Sunday night and talk about your book?
Don't we book people when we're not off air? But I mean, when we're off air instead of on air?
No.
Isn't that a little... We have got nothing to talk about today. We're going to book Tim on it. Yeah, I'll be on the radio. Sure, I'll do whatever.
Night.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not doing anything.
This will be fun.
So then you were at the conference, yeah, and then you met Mitt's people, and they lied to you, and then
they were amazing. There were so many amazing people there. And then of course we did Radio Row. We broadcast for about 3 hours outside of the Hilton. It was absolutely fabulous. But the fun part came after the event, and I was with Peggy with American for Prosperities, and we went tootling around the city. The next day, I checked into the airport a couple hours early. Mm-hmm. Then a storm blew in. So all the airlines were delayed. Finally got out of D.C. into Charlotte, North Carolina, and we missed our flight.
So you were stuck in Charlotte?
Mm-hmm, until 5 o'clock.
That's a good town to be stuck in, though.
It was awesome. We went to the water park. It was an outdoor water park with the zip lines.
Yeah.
So you could go whitewater rafting, you could go zip lining, you could have obstacle courses. It was fabulous.
So you went to the Americans for Prosperity conference, and the highlight of the weekend was going to a water park when your plane was
delayed
in
Charlotte, North Carolina.
That speaks a lot about
But Mark Levin was awesome.
You're now, it's not like the director of Americans for Prosperity Texas is on the show regularly as a host.
Every week she's
So
there.
it was a terrible, look at that, it's creeping in.
There we go. He's so proud of that.
Tuesdays at 7, in case you didn't know what you were watching. So
I would encourage everybody seriously to join, if they want to get involved in a group, Americans for Prosperity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
It's an amazing group of people, and to be around so many productive human beings in one place it truly was exhilarating. And so all these folks from all over the country were there. I met people from Washington State all the way over to your neck of the woods, Maryland.
That's where I'm from, Maryland. Good work.
Maryland.
You need some notes in front of you on me. I'll write some down here.
Maryland.
Maryland.
And but they were all joining together for the one cause. But the people from Wisconsin were amazing and energized, and I got to tell you, it was uplifting.
They have the cheese hats?
Some of them did, yes.
That's important.
With flags in them.
That's very well. That's a little off. But so. Americans for Prosperity actually is a good organization to be a part of. And you know that they're good because that's what the liberal media hypes on when they talk about the Koch brothers. They talk about Americans for Prosperity. That's the Koch brothers organization. Of course, everybody knows that. And I mean, they are the villainized right-wing guys, really. Like in
they
the whole,
certainly are.
And for no reason. There are plenty of million and billionaires on the left that no one cares about. But the Koch brothers are, of course, a focal point for the left to attack because that's what we got.
So, you know what we're going to do tonight? Did Dan tell you?
No.
I'm just
going to stare at the screen right now.
We're going to stare at the screen, but we have clips. And we're going to go through I don't even know what they are. Dan,
you don't know? Oh, we have random clips to go through?
We have random clips that
I haven't been told this. Nobody asked me about my weekend, by the way.
Well, how was your weekend?
It's the worst birthday weekend I've ever had.
It was your birthday?
I stood up on Sunday.
But she's here.
Wow.
She's here.
I stood up.
And she's quite gorgeous.
And I had the worst. I don't know what we're talking about, by the way. I don't know who we're talking about right now. Let's go back to the clips. Let's go to the clips, Dan.
What'd you do for your birthday, Tim?
I stood up. Go to the clips.
Where'd you go? Did you go out to eat?
No, I cried myself to sleep. Go to the clips, Dan.
All right, you have to look at one of the most amazing pieces of surveillance video we've seen in a long, long time. Let's call it Granny's Got a Gun. Take a look. This is a bunch of gang members storming into a jewelry store in Garden Grove, California. They just rush in there, but seconds later, you'll see them hurrying. Shots are fired right there. That's because the woman behind the counter opened fire. And these guys, they just booked it out of there. You can see them crowding by the door right there. They're just getting out as fast as they humanly can. A bunch of them didn't even make it into the getaway car. Are they running fast? That's what happens when you give a grandmother a gun. Police say the suspects were picked up about a block away.
Oh, my goodness. That is some funny video.
A 15-year-old at home with his 12-year-old sister when burglars try to break in.
That's when investigators say the boy grabbed his dad's assault rifle and started shooting, and he hit one of the men repeatedly. This all unfolded this afternoon in the 2600 block of Royal Place Court. 11 News reporter Sherman Chow talked with neighbors and investigators.
Anxious family and friends crossed the yellow tape into a surreal crime scene. A 15-year-old boy and his 12-year-old sister had been home alone in the Mount Royal Village subdivision. Then about 2:30, a pair of home invaders tried the front and back doors, then broke a back window.
A young boy was protecting his sister. You know, he was in fear for his life and for his sister's life.
The brother grabbed his father's assault rifle and knew what to do with it. His dad is a Precinct 1 deputy constable.
We don't try to hide things from our children in law enforcement.
The children were not hurt. The home invaders fled, leaving a trail of blood. Two suspects showed up at Tomball Hospital. One, the adult, had multiple gunshot wounds and was flown to Memorial Hermann Hospital. The second, a juvenile, was taken back here. Detectives walked the suspect through the crime scene. Meantime, neighbors say burglars had recently struck the two houses next door, which included the deputy's home.
They stole everything, what they have inside. They already did it one time.
And this may be the last time, at least for these suspects. In Northwest Harris County, Sherman Chow, 11 News.
coming back on right now.
Oh, we're on the
What's
air.
amazing, I bet there was something funny there, but we couldn't hear the clips.
Dan, we couldn't hear the clip, so we don't know what to talk about.
Actually, we do know what to talk about. It's the Second Amendment and how guns have actually saved lives this time around. But here we go. Look, Dan's in studio now. He's turning up the volume.
Or you could talk on you could talk on camera 3.
Yeah, you could get on camera 3 and talk to us. But anyway, hey, listen.
But you know, go ahead.
No, this is one of those times. You know, all we hear about is terrible things in the news. All we do hear is how there's tragedies and there are these like terrible shootings, and there are. I'm not going to take away from that.
We're not.
But here are 2 examples of the Second Amendment actually working to protect people, and that's really something that needs to be focused on more. You know, as soon as something happens where this, like unfortunately the Sikh shooting this weekend, the Dark Knight shooting a couple of weeks ago, it's screaming about the NRA, it's screaming about crazy people and how no one should have guns. Where these are 2 great examples of where people should have guns and where they're being properly used to protect and save lives and property.
Well, another area that I think really needs to be looked at very seriously is in both of the incidents that you mentioned, both subjects were under psychiatric care. And so it goes unmentioned, you know, that safety net is for them. And so as a victim, we don't have that safety net. And I think that we should do something about protecting in those kind of situations when they're psychotic.
Well, yeah, but there's no way that you're going to keep a gun away from someone like that. They're going to get them. If they want them, they're going to get them.
But as a psychiatrist, as a doctor, that could have been monitored somehow, and the police should have known. Someone should have known. I mean, we look at the Fort Hood shooting. He was also under psychiatric care. You look at up in...
I thought he was a psychologist. I thought that he was the psychologist on
He was, but he was also under care.
Oh.
Up in Wisconsin, that fellow was under care, and this guy in Aurora was under care. And so why aren't we looking at, instead of blaming it on political agendas, why aren't we looking at the root cause?
You know, because it's too easy to jump all over a political agenda. I think that the situation it's advantageous of folks to go after it. Again, going back to when Representative Giffords was shot.
Yep.
And Sarah Palin had the little hash marks on her, like the targets around the country,
Yes.
and clearly it was then Sarah Palin's fault.
Absolutely.
That, like, and I'm not a fan of Sarah Palin, don't get me wrong, but it was
She's
clearly
dynamic.
her fault.
Have you ever seen her speak in person?
Yeah, I've seen her speak.
She's dynamic. She is. But let's go back to clearly being her fault.
So no, but they focus on these things because they want to get rid of guns in society. But they want to blame not the individual. Again, they want to blame the weapons, and of course, it's a great way. If you take a look at it politically, it draws back to the NRA, which has historically supported right-wing causes, and the Republicans. So if you can eliminate their cause, it's old school politics. I mean, there's really not a...
Along with Fast and Furious.
Yeah, well...
I mean, that all played into part of it.
Well, we don't hear much about Fast and Furious anymore.
We don't.
Because it was an Obama thing.
It was. It was.
So that wasn't a... And the NRA was against that. So, I mean, of course, the left is never wrong about guns. It's only the right that's wrong about guns.
That's true.
We know this.
We know that. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
They're wrong.
Yeah.
They're left. We're right.
Did you spell absolute rights right this week? Way to go, Dan.
Didn't he do a good job?
Last week, not so good on the spelling.
That means you don't have to be a out-of-work comic. But you're not an out-of-work comic because Glenn Beck...
It's not official yet.
Oh.
But there are a lot of things that are going on. There are a lot of TV show inquiries. There are a lot of book inquiries. There are a couple of things now folks want to maybe talk to me about.
What is it about you that appeals to people? What is that charisma?
Look at me.
I know,
Look
but
at
what
me.
is it? What is it about
Look
you?
at that.
What about it? Tell me what it
Look at
is.
that. I have a very shiny forehead.
That's the lighting.
I'm
practicing.
endorsing Rosie O'Donnell, who can't keep a job on TV to save her life.
She can't?
No, she just got canned from the O Network.
She did?
That was the end of Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, that's the end of her. I don't know what it is about me.
So you could take her place.
On the O Network. Yeah, me and Oprah. Tight.
That would be interesting.
Tight.
Dan, do you have another clip for us?
Get another. Nobody caught what I just did with my hands.
Dan saw it, and Andrea saw it.
No, there's something about being informed and being able to mouth off about it and make points and then still make stupid jokes at the same time. Did you read my book? You didn't.
I don't even have an iPad.
You have a computer. You can download it on your computer.
Okay.
How can you even promote me and not know what I stand for by not reading my book?
I can't.
I read your book.
What was it?
You didn't have a book.
Yes, I do.
You do have a book?
I do.
What's it called?
I don't know.
It's the Bible. I read it.
Have you read it?
Mm-hmm.
From cover to cover?
I have, actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
How many times?
As a kid, enough times that I could probably quote just about anything out of it.
What's your
That's
favorite?
you're like right?
What's your favorite verse?
I don't really have one.
What do you get from the Bible? Are you a Christian?
We're not going to talk about my religion on air. We're not going to talk about this. We're not going to go there. I am a Christian, yes. I should go to church more, yes. My behavior on stage does not go with God's plan.
Oops.
Maybe it does.
Well,
because I think that swearing, where they say in the Bible you can't swear and all that stuff, I think that is subjective to the time period. So maybe something that I'm saying now doesn't apply to something that was, like 50 years ago.
Well, gay used to mean happy.
Yeah, well, I didn't say anything about anybody being gay.
Well, I was just giving you an example of how words change over time. Gay used to be happy. We don't know. I preferred it when it was happy.
I'm not going to say anything. I so want to say other words right now. You set that up for me to say something that was like not going to go there. Man, when Peggy's here, there's like structure. What the hell happened this week, huh?
What the heck happened?
Heck happened this week. Hell's fine.
Are you saying you miss Peggy?
I don't miss Peggy. I like you more than Peggy. Dan, where's the clip? Where's the clip, Dan? We're supposed to have another clip now. I'm very excited. You have four hands back there. You have help back there from me. But no, it's interesting. I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed to be where I am and get the opportunities that I get. And coming to Austin was probably a great idea. I was originally going to head to LA, straight from DC, but I got an offer to come here and be the managing editor, of course, of Absolute Rights, and they were going to promote my book and promote me and help me get on some different networks and things that I've already been on and kind of like just build me up more as the company built. And I'm very fortunate to have that position. And I will be staying here. We actually worked on some stuff this week, and I will be staying here for a while longer, we'll say. So there's a lot of things going on.
Well, I'm serious. In all seriousness, I'm happy for you. Austin's a great place, a lot of fun, and if you could grow in what you're doing, I think that's great.
Oh, and it's perfect, and it's a perfect spot for me in the country. It's a great place to live. There are great people here. I've met like 5 people total, but that's more than I knew in Baltimore and DC.
It's isn't it hard to know people up there?
No, I knew a bunch of people, but they were all very disingenuous. There's a lot of very genuine people here and a lot of good people here, including Peggy, by the way. I really do like Peggy, and
she's awesome.
Yeah, not you, but Peggy is a good person.
Hard.
Dan, take him or leave him.
Take him or leave him.
How many times is my name going to be on the stage? My name has been up now 150 times. There we go. This is a very professional show. But no, it's given me a lot of opportunity, and I can fly to each coast very, very quickly, very cheaply. And this may end up being my home.
It's a lovely place to live.
It's a great place to live.
Hey, I want to go back to one of the clips that we saw.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
In the jewelry store, the woman defending herself in the jewelry store.
Yeah.
And the gentleman running out as fast as they could go.
You gotta like that. They get what's coming to them. Didn't she shoot? She hit 2 of them, didn't she?
Yes.
Why not? They came in with guns.
Why not?
I think they deserve. Honestly,
isn't that part of the if you're going to go in and rob somebody, you have to understand that is a possibility.
If you come in and you threaten someone's life, your life's on the line just as much as theirs. I mean, they can only assume that they're dead as soon as you come in with a gun. So they have a right to defend themselves. She absolutely did that. And then there was a third clip that I actually didn't send you guys. I should have, of course, the 71-year-old man. And you notice it's these older people who have guns, not like younger people that are like responsibly carrying guns. And I'm sure that they do. But these older people, there was a 71-year-old man in an internet cafe. I forget what state it was in. 2 guys came in. One had a gun, one had a baseball bat, and they were going to rob the internet cafe. And he jumped up. Like he waited his entire life with his concealed carry license to finally pull that sucker out and start firing at him. And he unloaded on. They both got shot, and they were running, yeah. And there were no charges pressed on him. There's actually charges pressed on the woman, though. Well, not yet. They're considering charges because she recklessly fired her gun. This is California. This is Orange County. She recklessly fired her gun at them, and that could have harmed someone in the parking lot.
How do you recklessly fire? If you're not there to see it, how do they know that?
In defending herself, because the people were in her face, she may have shot through the glass and then hit someone in the parking lot, and that would have been illegal. and she would have gone to jail for that.
But that she didn't, though.
Well, they're considering charges still.
I see.
Because she defended herself and didn't think, 15 steps ahead in some crazy game of chess with her weapon. It's insane.
It is insane. Okay, now I want to just set up this clip for a minute. I mean, there is a lot of insanity right now, and we do have multiple shootings. And so the Houston Police Department has put out a clip that can just kind of guide you through what would happen if you were in a position that somebody came into your place of work, place of worship, wherever you are, and start shooting. So this clip is really more for educational purposes. And we won't make fun of it afterwards. Well, we might. Well, he might. I don't know. But I want you to watch it and
Let's see it.
Take it seriously. So here we go. Yeah.
This is going to be bad, isn't it?
No, it's not going to be bad.
We're not going to hear anything.
We're not, because that should have been loud.
It may feel like just another day at the office.
Yeah. Just turn up the TV.
But occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality.
Just turn up the TV.
The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. But sometimes bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. as a last resort, if your life is at risk. Whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.
Stargate. We got the Stargate now. We can go through to and Stargate.
Stargate.
We can go through to the Egyptian land of aliens with that.
Hey.
With these are the you do
back.
know, by the way, that Beauty of Politics, the name, does not match up with like these violent, angry, like the BOP logos that come up and there's like blood and then there's like this evil rumbling.
That's because
it doesn't match.
That's because I created the backdrops.
And then everybody else created, like,
and
there was no...
Dan created the other one.
You guys skipped the production meeting where you met together and you were like, I got a great idea. And you just told him it was BOP and he's like, great, I'm going to make it as angry as possible.
That's what he did. That's true. That is true.
You're still looking for the beauty. It doesn't... that was the most messed up video I've ever seen in my life. Why is society at the point now that we have to have a video run, hide, or fight? I mean, it's pretty bad, right?
Well, and seriously, people are watching videos on a continuum, and they're all very violent. You know, all these cartoons that come out and the avatars, and they're always fighting. And so I personally think people gravitate to that. They're not as violent as what they're used to seeing, but it's come home. The chickens have come home to roost. It's come home. I mean, how many shootings have we seen in the last couple of years that you could just name off the top of your head?
Well, in the last month you got 2 that were pretty bad.
And you have Luby's, that was just horrific. You have the Fort Hood shooting that was just horrific. You had the other shooting in Colorado, Columbine.
Mm-hmm. That was a long time ago, though.
Jonestown, Arkansas, right after that.
That's pretty bad. No, but I mean, you really take a look at it. I guess people don't know how to react in these situations. It's odd.
Well, would you? I mean, I wouldn't. And I don't... Should I talk about when I got robbed?
I just was told that you got robbed. Go ahead.
I've been robbed several times, and it's frightening.
Dan was robbed, too.
Oh, the producer said he was robbed, but not by gunpoint. How did you get robbed?
Nobody can hear this, by the way. Just us. We're just sitting around staring at a screen.
So, no, he was telling us that he was robbed by 4 big gentlemen. Now, my question
Basically, this story was racist.
It was racist.
Like, actually, here's what happened.
You know, and the
Dan
4 big black
had
guys.
never met an African-American before in his life. And so when 4 members of his classmates came up to him and they're like, hey, you want to go hang out? He freaked out, threw his wallet at them, and ran away. And that's what he says he was robbed in high school. He's still traumatized by this. The guys still have no idea. He went to the reunion a couple years ago, repeated the whole situation, gave him his car that time.
Is that why you don't have a car? You accepted $10 a month restitution? Wow. So, and you feel bad. Dan, do you feel bad now that you accepted that $10 a month?
So, for those of you who can't hear this, Dan, I'm not going to repeat what you just said, Dan, but I'm going to say, so the one kid, his classmate, who he threw his wallet at, had to pay him then $10 a month for 5 years. So he got $500 roughly, like $600 from this kid, because he was afraid of black people the first time he met them, and ran. I mean, now he thinks he got ripped off. Well.
So, were you afraid, Dan?
Yeah, and I was really angry.
You know, you have a camera and a microphone back there. You can put yourself on here while we talk.
He said that he was angry and he went looking for them. So it's a good thing you didn't have a gun.
Yeah. But then, you know, things changed. Brown v. Board changed everything for Dan, and he realized that we're all equal, and maybe black people aren't as scary. Right, Dan?
He agreed with you.
And then he found the Lord Jesus Christ.
And so?
And realized that he, too, was of color because of where he grew up. I wanted to explain the story.
I think that's great.
I grew up in the hood. Let me tell you something. I grew up in the hood in Southwest Baltimore. I have seen and experienced just about everything. I was never robbed, though. Had plenty of things stolen from me, like stolen out of the property. And
what does the hood mean?
I grew up in a very, very... Okay, have you ever seen The Wire?
No, what's The
Wire?
Okay,
well, Wire was a very, very successful TV show about the crime in Baltimore City. I grew up basically in that area. The #2 writer of the show grew up a mile from my house. I grew up in, my high school was #1 in narcotics, #1 in teen pregnancy when I graduated, #2 in dropout rate. So like I came from a really rough part of the world. Like I'm familiar with everything. I know everything. I don't know everything, but like I'm familiar with a lot of crime and a lot of like criminal activity and stuff like that. A lot of my friends are now defense attorneys in Baltimore City. So
and making the big bucks.
They're doing all right. Yeah. They're doing all right for themselves. When they can get paid. And sometimes it's tough to get paid when you have defendants.
When I was in Washington, D.C., I heard over and over again to stay out of the city at night that it was so bad now, just running rampant with crime.
I
kept hearing
it's because I grew up there, and like I'm the guy too. Like I'll go walk around in Austin. I'll take a 5-mile loop at night. I'll walk around the entire city, and there's nothing that really jumps out at me that there's anything scary. I think it's scarier to see a white guy walking around in the streets at night than it is anything else. I think it looks creepy if I'm just like wandering the streets.
Probably so if you see yourself in the mirror downtown, then you're scared to death.
I'd be freaked out by that.
What are you going to do?
But so you were robbed. Go ahead and tell us that story.
Well, mine was just not as romantic as yours.
I didn't get robbed.
Did he wear his Rosie Chubb shirt?
I was a part of the Rosie O'Donnell Chubb Club in high school, and I, like Rosie, producer who keeps talking in my ear, I, like Rosie, lost not a single pound in high school. It wasn't until law school that I...
Were you chubby?
Became anorexic. Yeah, I was 300 pounds at one point.
Seriously?
I was 320 pounds.
How did you get to 320 pounds? Seriously?
A lot of cake.
And
no lie, a lot of cake.
This is a serious subject.
Yeah.
300 pounds? Are you being serious?
Yeah, very serious. You want the video? We can pull the video. I'll have the video next week. You want to take a look at it?
No, I want to have it because there's a lot of people overweight and they struggle and struggle and
nothing to do with politics,
and it doesn't, but it has all to do with the beauty.
Diet and exercise.
Is that how you...
That's all it was diet and exercise.
So where were you at that point where something clicked in your head where you said, hey, I don't want to be 325 pounds?
There's nothing significant that really... I blew a knee out and I was going to rehab 3 times a week, and then I was like, I can go to the gym 3 times a week if I go to rehab 3 times a week, and then I set goals for myself with running and lost a ton of weight.
How long did it take you?
What? At least I wasn't forced to lose weight? Oh, with healthcare, we're not going to be forced to... Dan should have a camera on himself because he has talked more in this half hour than we have.
I know, Dan.
You just
can you
can't
put
hear
the
it.
camera on
First,
you
his
for a minute?
story. First, his
He says
story
no.
about overcoming racism, which I thought very bold of you to get over the racism of those kids you were afraid of.
But is he truly over the racism?
He's not.
I mean, I don't think so.
He actually
I
asked
think he's
me.
a closet racist.
I got a little bit more of a tan this past week. He asked me if I was going to clean up after the show. I don't think he realized I was Tim. He thought I was. He said something about Jose or something. I didn't understand what he was saying.
He did. It was marbles in his mouth.
Yeah.
Juan.
But
Juan. Hey.
But
Jose Cuervo.
what were we even talking about?
Another friend of mine.
Oh, about losing weight. No, I lost 120. You wake up I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what? It's time to do this. Let's do this. I think that, you know, it's probably some superficial reason that I did it. Really, it wasn't necessarily a health reason. Just like I don't eat red meat. I don't eat red meat not for anything special. I just, you know, it's kind of bad for me. So
how did it change your life? On a serious note, seriously, how did it change your life?
Really? You know what my serious answer is. It's not going to sound serious.
What?
Women.
Well, that's good.
That's it. That was it. Smaller clothes.
Smaller clothes and women. So you finally got a date. Andrea, we need to talk.
I had dates.
Andrea's in
Don't. No, you should not be saying any kind of names on here, by the way. That was like off. That's like off limits. Like that's it for me. Don't say names. But no, I lost my microphone.
Uh-oh. I think that's a remarkable...
That's my microphone.
No, I think that's remarkable.
I didn't break it. It just got ripped
boys.
off me.
Dan is talking back and forth,
No,
all, and I do
so-
apologize. I think it's remarkable that you've lost so much weight.
Yeah, and if you saw a video
job.
of me, I look nothing like myself. 10 years ago, I have a video of me, and I look nothing at all like what I look like now. I had a 19.5-inch neck. I was humongous.
What size neck do you have now?
15.5.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, and I have a lot more novelty T-shirts. I didn't have a lot of novelty T-shirts back in the day. I have tons of them now, like this one.
Was that exciting to buy them? I mean, did you
No.
feel good to go out and purchase it?
No.
No, nothing?
I didn't
What
feel
about
any
your
better.
family?
You know, there's people that say that they feel better when they're on a diet or they feel better when they lose weight and all that stuff. No, you feel the same. I'm just thinner.
What about your family? Are they
What?
excited for you? Were they thrilled? Did they care?
Not really. It's kind of like, yeah, all right, you lost weight. They were afraid I was sick. They were afraid I had some sort of a disease because when you drop 100 pounds, people think you have some sort of STD or something that you don't recover from. But yeah, that's about the...
How long did it take?
3 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Hey, what's our next clip, Dan?
This has nothing to... We've gone completely off topic. This has been the Let's Talk About Tim Young show. Why are you awesome? Why have you lost weight? How has your life improved?
Do you love
Let's
that?
call somebody's name out that doesn't want to be called out on television.
Do you want to do that?
You call out our one
Cindy?
audience member, Cindy.
One
What's her
audience
name?
is better than no audience.
Hey, remember when?
you know?
Remember when? Is Peggy watching this right now?
Yes, Peggy's
remember when
watching.
Peggy's daughter came last week?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She had never been to a show before.
Of course. No, she's never been here.
Mm-hmm. What was the difference
Of what?
from last week's show than on any of the other shows that she decided to show up?
Oh, she had just gotten back into town. And she couldn't wait to see Tim Young. Because Tim Young is all
Because
about...
I'm all about the
He's all about the beauty
beauty
of
of politics and the Stargate
The
that
Stargate.
opens when the Beauty of Politics logo comes up, when the clip piece comes up.
Do you love that?
No.
You don't?
There needs to be, we need to do some, here we go, clip time.
Here we go. How do you like that one?
That's amazing. Oh, are we on for this? We're on for this.
Could be.
Okay.
Our mics are on. I think he's going to split us in
I'll make our
half.
government open and transparent so that anyone can ensure that our business is the people's business. Justice Louis Brandeis once said, "Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant." And as president, I'm going to make it impossible for congressmen or lobbyists to slip pork barrel projects or corporate welfare into laws when no one's looking, because when I'm president, meetings where laws are written will be more open to the public, no more secrecy. That's a commitment I make to you as president.
These lies are absolutely spot on.
Wait, Dan, can you stop that clip? What do you mean they're spot on?
They're spot on. I mean, the guy is,
No more secrecy.
he's one of the most secretive White Houses ever. Ever. And Helen Thomas even called that out early on.
She did.
I shouldn't say this on TV, but I'm a fan of Helen Thomas. I liked Helen.
And no names.
Helen's a friend. Oh, it's 7 lies in less than 2 minutes on that clip? We had 4 lies already. Oh, I'm sorry. We were told that we're not appropriately watching the clip by the producer. So, Dan, why don't you roll it, and we'll keep our mouths shut.
We'll be quiet. No,
we're not going to talk now.
I know, but what's he doing?
He's queuing up the clip now.
I mean,
he told us that we screwed it up.
I'll make our government open and transparent so that anyone can ensure that our business is the people's business. Justice Louis Brandeis once said, "Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant." And as president, I'm going to make it impossible for congressmen or lobbyists to slip pork barrel projects or corporate welfare into laws when no one's looking, because when I'm president, meetings where laws are written will be more open to the public, no more secrecy. That's a commitment I make to you as president.
Oh, shut up.
No more secrecy. And when there's a bill that ends up on my desk as president, you, the public, will have 5 days to look online and find out what's in it before I sign it, so that you know what your government's doing. When there are meetings between lobbyists and a government agency, we'll put as many of those meetings as possible online for every American to watch. When there's a tax bill being debated in Congress, you will know the names of the corporations that would benefit and how much money they would get. And we will put every corporate tax break and every pork barrel project online for every American to see. You will know who asked for them, and you can decide whether your representative is actually representing you.
Now, one side in this campaign has been telling us that the issues of this election are the maintenance of peace and prosperity. The line has been used, we've never had it so good.
I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
But I have an uncomfortable feeling that this prosperity isn't something on which we can base our hopes for the future.
The key point I'm making right now is that the economy is moving in a positive direction.
Oh, shut up.
And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in.
You're telling me we got to go spend money to keep from going bankrupt? The answer is yes, I'm telling you.
We've raised our debt limit 3 times in the last 12 months. And now our national debt is 1.5 times bigger than all the combined debts of all the nations of the world.
We're going to raise the debt limit. We always have. We will do it again.
We have $15 billion in gold in our treasury. We don't own an ounce.
Oh, somebody faint. Do we have a EMT here? Right down here. Just give him a little bit of space. This happened during my political campaign all the time.
I have been informed that the majority plans to block consideration of this amendment, which is number 1367, regarding the transparency at the Federal Reserve.
Foreign dollar claims are $27.3 billion.
It said that China has now surpassed Japan as the U.S. government's largest creditor, owning at least 10% of all U.S. debt, perhaps as much as $700 billion.
And we've just had announced that the dollar of 1939 will now purchase 45 cents in its total value.
President Obama is expected to face tough questions over the U.S. decision to pump $600 billion freshly printed dollars into its economy. Now, the move is an attempt to revive the country's finances, but will result in the devaluation of the dollar.
People would be falling out every which way. They're usually fine. They just need a little bit of air and a little bit of water.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours,
you'll construct a legal regime to make indefinite detention legal.
history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers.
For some trips, it'll be faster than flying, without the pat down.
Anna was picked to go through. Pretty much everybody except the baby was picked to go through the scanner.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
Damn America, that's in the Bible.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
I've got a core set of values that I think have to be advanced, and that my individual salvation depends on our collective salvation.
You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
We had an election, and it was about a direction for our country.
And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, or as we were told a few days ago by the President, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people.
E pluribus unum, out of many, one. In the end, that's what this election is about.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Over the course of 10 years, it would cost what it would cost us. All right, okay, we're going to. It would cost us about the same as it would cost.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, shut up.
Could you hear my microphone when I yelled how racist that one part of the clip was? I want to make sure that I get that on record. Dan, no? Well, that's fine, but there was that part of the clip.
Why was that racist? Why would you call that racist?
Where they basically said it was an implication that those black people were stupid.
No.
There was an implication that the black people that were cheering for Obama were stupid, and that was racist.
What was the implication?
That they were stupid. It said.
But what did it say?
It said some quote about you can scroll it back and take a look at the clip, or you can look it up online, or you can take a look at it again. You heard me scream in studio.
He was screaming.
I was like, that is so racist.
That's racist.
But you know what that clip shows me, and this is why I can be as Republican and as red as possible, but that clip shows me that the same rhetoric that has been used being used now has been used for years.
Oh, sure.
That could have been any election, any day.
Any election.
Except for this one, because Mitt Romney can't get anything out.
That's because he's racist.
Mitt Romney's not racist. That clip, though, had a racist piece to it that I just...
He was boiling inside.
But no...
He was boiling inside.
So, I mean, yeah... no, but I'm just saying, like, when you take a look at the old video and then the new footage, it's basically the same thing over and over again.
Same message.
It's the same message over and over again. It's been every campaign,
election.
every time.
I think, Dan and I had that discussion at one point, probably a year ago.
Yeah.
You just see it over and over and over and over again.
It's the exact same thing every time. It's because if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And with Peggy, I always ask her, Peggy, has politics always been this nasty? And she just says flat out yes.
Yeah. Well, the difference is the 24-hour news cycle that's come in with politics.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, now you have every little movement, and absolutely everything comes out. If somebody looks the wrong way, it comes out in the news. Whereas you had to wait a day, and you could actually negotiate with the news back in the day when it was print. When print, by the way, originally, when newspapers were out, they were biased. Like, newspapers were very clearly biased. They weren't very, like, they didn't hide it very well. And then somewhere in the middle, we had this idea that media should be non-biased. And now we hold media to a different level.
Aren't people.
That's true.
I mean,
I'm not a person. I've been in
person.
media for a long time.
Robot.
I mean, it's very obvious. Like, when you see things like Fox News is biased, CNN is biased, MSNBC is biased, you just watch them all and you got to make up your own mind. It's sort of like historians, but like now, you know, history is basically determined by the tale that the historian tells. Like, so you kind of have to make up your mind by taking all the different pieces that you're given and the opinions people have given you. Did you not see that I've been taking notes the entire time?
Do you know, his notes are amazing. I just can't even articulate how. I mean, that's amazing.
Yep.
2 pages full of notes.
Well, we have 30 seconds left of the show. Let's.
I want to say thank you so much for watching The Beauty of Politics. We have Mr. Tim Young on the program with us.
We winged it tonight.
We absolutely did wing it.
Yeah, make sure you go to Amazon.com, look up Tim Young, 50 Shades of Romney. Here's a hint, they're all white. It's still top 10 in political humor, will continue to be top 10, and look for my face everywhere.
It's a racist book.
It's not a racist book. That clip was racist.
Racist.